Going live. Hi, this is On Imagination. All right. I love my second sessions. I don't know why. My first ones, I'm tired. I'm discouraged. I'm like, all right, I'm here. How am I going to do this today? I get into my second sessions and I'm like, magic. And it's a completely different vibe. And I'm going, how do I take this vibe and put it in the first vibe? It's amazing. It's so fucking funny to me. It's like, what is wrong with my brain? So right now I'm putting things together. I just did a whole lot of research on the words witchcraft, wizardry. I wanted to know what these words are. Now, I've researched this like 8 million times. I knew witch came from Anglo-Saxon. So Wicca is being mispronounced. It's pronounced witcha and witche. That is the actual pronunciation of Wicca. It's called witcha. Witcha means liar and deceiver. It is the opposite of warlock. Warlock comes from the words war and logic. Are you ready for this, guys? Logic means deceiver and war means good. Look it up. So, that, by the way, is that Christian Roman garbage at work. That's Christian made 101. That's narcissism. Let's take the words, reverse their meaning, and switch them around. So war logic means like, wow, just wow. Oh yeah, war also meant truth. They literally reversed the words. So it was supposed to mean, like, I can't, because it's logical war. That doesn't even make sense. Like, that's got Christian logic, illogic. It's nonsense. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. That is 100% Roman Christian made. The fucking insanity. Gorgeous example. So now I don't want to use the word witch. Not at all. I don't even want to go near the word witch now. I'm like, wait, if witch means the opposite of that. Now, Sedgona is what the Norwegians called them. I love Sedgona. That meant magic woman. Seith is the name of, Seith. Seith is the most beautiful word. The word Seith. Seith, S-E-I-D-R, is Old Norse for the word magic. But this is before. They didn't have the word for magic. So Seith, I got to think here. Etymology. No, I don't want etymology. Just let's go Seith wiki. Oh, I haven't been here in so long. This takes me back. Seith. Oh, I need to. There it is. Seith. All right. So this is Seith. It's a type of natural magic, which was practiced in Norse society during the late Scandinavian Iron Age. The practice of Seith is believed to be a form of magic which is related to both the telling and the shaping of the future. Yeah, I did a lot of research in this. Connected to the Old Norse religion, its origins are largely unknown, and its practice gradually declined after the Christianity of Scandinavia. Accounts of Seith later made it into sagas and other literary sources, while further evidence of it has been unearthed by archaeologists. Various scholars have debated the nature of Seith. Some of them have argued that it was shamanic in context, involving visionary journeys by its practitioners. Seith practitioners were of both sexes. You had a volur, Sudkona, and a Visandakona. These were also accounts of male practitioners who were known as Seithman or Seithmadr in the singular. In Seithmadr is singular. Causes these magical practitioners would have assisted to aid them in their rituals. In pre-Christian Norse mythology, Seith was associated with both the god Odin, a deity who was simultaneously responsible for war, poetry, and sorcery, and the goddess Freya, a member of the Vanir, who was believed to have taught the practice to the Asir. The Asir were a group of, according to the myth, there you had the Asir and the Vanir, and they conflicted with each other. There was a war. And the Vanir stayed. That became Valhalla, and that became your Odin, Thor. Those were all Vanir. The Asir lost and left. Now, this is where Irish mythology gets really interesting, because now when you look into Irish mythology, you get names like she, which is all very, very, very similar to Shay, to the Seith, and it's also very similar to the Asir. So now you're looking at words like asir and sid with she. And I'm going, whoa, I mean, there's like so much overlap. So the way it's set up logically, one could almost assume that the Asir were the Irish gods and the Vanir were the Norse gods, and they used to live together in harmony until they split. Now, the reason for their split, this is interesting, is the Vanir had a problem with the incest in Irish mythology. In the Asir religion. And when you look at the Asir's behavior and the Irish myth, they're identical. It's extraordinary. So I hypothesize that the gods, the Asir and the Vanir, used to live in all this massive amount of peace throughout the entire land, including often common rendezvous down in ancient Greece. In fact, there is some speculation that the Light of Pharos, the lighthouse of Alexandria, the statue on the top, in some sources, credited that to be Danu, the mother goddess of Ireland, in some credited sources. Very conflicting. But that's how closely related these guys were. So that the Irish myth and the Greek myth overlap as well. So when you look at that influence, as if they were like going on joy rides back and forth between the Tara Hill and Olympus. That's really what it looks like. And then there was a schism, a war, because the incest was a problem. And that's when you see the Vanir separate from the others, which is also a common theme in the Greek. So now it looks like you have the Greek with the Irish, and the two of them were coming together with the Asir and the Grecian myth. And as I said, the Norwegians with the Vanir separated completely. After the Asir and the Vanir war, that is where you start to see the two religions really shape up in how they influenced each other, which is why later on you can see them like moving and weaving back and forth. They're so highly compatible between the Irish and the Norwegians. It's so compatible. So it's really amazing to see how the mythologies influenced. To read Norse mythology is like reading the opposite of Irish mythology. To read Irish mythology is like reading so this is what the Vanir did. And then you go over to the Vanir, this is what the Asir did. Like, that's what it looks like. And it's like, wow. Like they're fighting. It's really fascinating. But the people keep interacting. So you're watching the gods fight. Well, the people just keep, it's just like, wow, it's fascinating. Really fascinating. I have it all coming through my head. I got a lot of shit just like, prrr. So the moral of the story is I don't like the word witch. That's what this is. I don't like the word witch, and I don't like the word warlock. These are, so then the other word is sorcery. Oh, I didn't like the feeling of that. I Googled it and went, nope, and I threw that away. It literally means evil and the black. No, we're done. No. So we are not using that word. When you manifest, it is the energy, the save, the code that you are putting inside of it. So you are either putting the healing growth code or you are putting I am going to fucking use magic to heal this world. And this is how I'm doing it. I'm literally taking the magic code of logic and I am integrating it into the spell work so that when I speak, it goes right through it. In addition to that, I'm also, all my writing has done this. All my writing, I've like strategically thumbed it all out that way. As I write, it's completely absent of the mark of Cain. Once you remove the mark of Cain from your language, everything changes because you are manifesting that shit. Now, it's not my fault if you're ignorant over which one you're manifesting, but are you? Do you know which side you're manifesting? Because if you don't know if the word you're using contains the mark of Cain, the only way to tell this is through logic. It is the only way. So you can either learn the entirety of all words or you can just learn logic. I recommend learning logic. Then you'll be able to just immediately go, oh, that's where that is. Okay, that's a toxic word. That's the mark of Cain word. Oh, that's a love word. But you probably don't know the difference between love words and mark of Cain words. So I'm going to be adding this to the curriculum. Love words versus the mark of Cain words. I am building the curriculum with you like right now. That's what we're doing. So love words versus the mark of Cain words. Now I have to make sure that every word selected, you are not going to be allowed to come into my school and call yourself a witch, because that's mark of Cain word. In fact, if you had half a brain, please do. Stop using the word entirely. Do not use the word sorcery. Do not use the word wizard is beautiful. Wizard is gorgeous. Do not use the word warlock. Now, wizard. Wizard means wise man or philosopher and sage. And I went, oh my God, I'm a wizard. I'm a wizard. So this is a wizarding school. It's officially a wizarding school. Fuck you all. You didn't study philosophy. Shame on you. So fuck you all. Look it up. Google the word. Wizardry literally means philosopher and sage. So fuck you. I'm a wizard. All right. Now that that's done, the other word that I'm looking into now is magic and mage. So I'm so fucking excited. I'm a wizard. Okay. So mage, magic, absolutely yes to that. Beautiful words. These come from Persian and naming rights. I'm going to tell you right now, naming rights, Persia. Thank you. Thank you so much, Persia. You're Iran now. I'm sorry. I'm from 2,000 years ago. I got to think about it. Oh, just give me a minute. I'm in the wrong dimension. Iran. I love it. Thank you, Iran. Iran gets naming rights. Okay. So magic, magus, and then you're looking at magi. Now, magi is the words, wise in Persia. Oh, this makes so much more sense. I was asking that question. What influence did Pythagoras had over the Middle East? I could not figure that out. I knew it. I'm sitting here going, why does Pythagoras? That is not philosophy Greek. That is an Arabic word. That is an Iranian word. Sophie. That does not mean wise to the Greeks. Magi means wise to the Greeks. You guys don't speak Greek. You guys don't speak Greek. The word wise in Greek is magic, not Sophie. You guys fucked it up. So what does philosophy mean? If philosophy meant a love of wisdom, then the word would be written a Sophophile. That is what the word should be, a Sophophile. But that doesn't make sense. That's not the word. And PH Sophie with an F for file, that's not consistent. Sophie Latin? But why would they have a PH? No. Sophia does not mean wisdom in the Greek language. It's not a Greek word. Sophia is the origin of the word Sophie, which means pure in Arabic. Sophie is linked to then the Greek word Sophia. Sophie or Sophia is not the origin. Greek was not the origin of the word Sophie. They got it from the Iran, from Persia. Sophia. That's where the etymology, I've been looking for that etymology. Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. Every time I looked at the word, it just did not make any sense. So the root word of Sophia is not Greek, it's Iran. Iranian, I'm going to have to look up how to do this. Persia. Now, That word went to the Greeks as Sophie, which meant pure. Philo means love. Pure love. That is what philosophy means. Philosophy means pure love. In the Middle East languages, they reverse the words. So they wouldn't say Sophie Philo. They said philosophy. So the word translates to love pure, which then becomes pure love when you also reverse the words. Because the word came from Persia. And that's why linguistics and historians need logic. There is no such thing as philosophy, love of wisdom. That doesn't even make sense. It is pure love. That is the word for philosophy. It means pure love. You guys want love? It's in the name. Pure love. By the way, a fuck up like this is caused by prejudice. Some asshole was prejudiced when he wrote this shit. That's why he got it wrong, is because he chose out of a bias. So the question is, who's the dipshit who mistranslated Pythagoras? Who is the fucking asshole who mistranslated Pythagoras? Because Pythagoras would not fuck this up. I couldn't figure that out for the longest times. I could not figure out. I'm looking at Pythagoras going, that man is a fucking genius. I mean, there's genius and then there's genius. And I'm looking at Pythagoras going, dude, why would you make a kindergarten mistake like this? Oh, it bothered the shit out of me. How could a man with that kind of a mind create a stupid mistake like this? He would not have. But you know who would have? Rome. And I'm just going, no. So the first thing we're going to talk from this point on is get this through your head. Philosophy is the science of pure love. That is its true name. Do I have your attention yet? Are you wanting to attend my school? Because this is the only fucking place in the world where this is. Philosophy is the study and the science of pure love. The problem is I can't come out to you guys and say, I got a philosophy school, because you guys didn't study philosophy to even know what that means. It would have been easy. Like if you all had been studied properly under the ancient Greek educational system, this is probably how I would have marketed this right off. Oh, it would have just been another school for witchcraft, wizardry, science, and magic and the arts, and it's an advanced school of philosophy. That's what I would have done. That's it right there. I have there's philosophy and then there's the next level up. I'm the next level up. There, that's what I'm trying to say. There's universities. Well, no, there's schools and then there's universities and then there's philosophy schools. I'm this level. Now I can finally talk to you guys. Now we're on the same. I found the equal footing, guys. We found the equal footing. Oh my God, it was so fucking hard to get here. Give me a minute, because I'm reverse engineering a whole lot in my head, and so much more is making sense now. I gotta take notes, because this thing is like, oh, it just broke out. Oh my God, I can see this whole thing just like. So logic literally defines the equal footing. That is what logic does. It defines the equal footing. Without logic, you cannot find the equal footing. Oh my God, that's why we use words. We're trying to find the equal footing so we cannot connect until we're on equal footing. And as you break down the logic to try and figure out where you are, you're supposed to go through a process Are you an idiot? You must be stupid. So I'm going to say all of this. Okay, now that I've said this, you must be an apprentice now. So go read Sophie's World. And then I can maybe talk to you the way I really need to talk to you. And then I come down here and I say, all right, guys, you read Sophie's World, right? Now what I need you to do is go read these 3 books, please. You guys went off. You read those 3 books. Now you're here. Now let's talk about what you think philosophy is. Let's talk about wisdom. Let's talk about King Solomon. Let's talk about the Zoroastrian religion and Zarathustra. Let's tie in Pythagoras and the ancient Greeks. Do you see what this is? How magic is just the next level after philosophy. You want to take out witches. What do? You burn down their wizarding schools. After you burn down their wizarding schools, you're probably going to want to take out anybody who's figured out what it is you're doing. It's going to take you about 800 years to do that. You realize really quickly that the whole thing is just embedded in their language. So what you need to do is change their language, which is why they had the Roman language and the Latin language. They were taking out the ancient Greek language and the lettering and the entire words, which is why they converted the Greek history and everything over to the Roman history. They weren't looking to take over a country. They were looking to take down the witches. So they took away the language. That's why they kept everything else. That's why they took the language. They found our weak spot. As soon as they realized the spells were in our words, they completely changed the words. So we weren't saying Janus. Janus didn't exist. That's why I had no drawn to him. I'm going, no, there's something icky about that. That's Roman. I can see the logical code in there. That's mutated logic. No, that's Roman. Whoa. Then I look over and I see Poseidon. Okay, Poseidon is the real word. That's the one with the magic in it. Poseidon, not Neptune. No magic. Oh, they killed it. That's Roman. That's a mutation. There's no magic in that word. Poseidon, but there is. Tyr, there is. Danu. Now you get it. This is it right here. So once you understand the course of time, and now we get down to philo, now we get down to love and the word philosophy. They took away the astrology. They took away the philosophy. They took away logic. They won't even teach you linguistics in the school. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And every time the children speak who are most close to nature, children naturally manifest. Oh no, don't let the children talk. Whatever you do, don't let the children talk because they'll find out that we're actually witches. When you get the logical code, you have the ability to literally unravel all of history forward and backwards. So every lie falls down. Every lie. Once you start to pull it apart, you can see the natural logical order of events. Natural order of logical events. This is the natural order of logical events. Natural order of logic. They'll get used to that phrase. You're going to hear that a lot in here. In fact, that's all we do here is the natural order of logical events. There is a natural order to logic. Only logic. Only. They couldn't change or undo. So they removed. All they did was destroy logic. Right down to the words we're speaking out of our mouth, which is why we have to now say true love instead of just love. Because they broke down our logic to the point where we can't even tell truth from truth, love from love. It took me over 44 years to find the answer to what is love. That is how saturated in hate it is. That it took me 44 years to find one example of it. So that is the reason why I built my school. Because I realized that the only fucking chance we've got is if we build a school. I just had to be the first one to step out to a non-magical world and say, guess what, guys? We got a magic school now. Courage. And I cram so much science in the back room that any asshole can't even come near me. That's the best part. This place is dripping with science. Like, I make some scientists look stupid level of science. And I went, oh, I just had to out-science the scientists. All right, I can do that. Let's out-science the scientists. Booyah! And when you do that, you get magic. And I went, yeah, you guys are running toward magic. Some of you are going really fucking slow, and most of you are in the wrong direction. But you're running. Yes, you are running toward the magic. Make sure you're running in the right direction, because that's the first rule of running toward the magic, is you need to make sure that you are facing the right way. Because logic has two sides to it, the integration and the disintegration. And until you understand this about logic, you are not going to get this. You're not going to get this. Maybe I am narcissist after all. I go back and forth with my partner and I, and whether or not I'm narcissistic or, well, narcissist or Pygmalion. And that's something we're trying to figure out, is which one of us is narcissist and which one of us is Pygmalion. It's one of the logical codes I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so Pygmalion created a creation, fell in love with his creation, and that creation was Narcissus. Narcissus was created by Pygmalion and then turned, looked down into the water, and fell in love with himself. No one loves himself more than Narcissus, which is exactly the way it should be. But Pygmalion was the parent to the creation. So you have Pygmalion love, or you should have Narcissus love. Oh, and there's the answer. You vile reptiles. You vile. Oh, I found it. I've been looking for this. Oh, am I mad? Rome's gonna burn. They targeted the language. They changed all the Greek names over to Roman. You know what they did with Narcissus? They coined a phrase, narcissist. You fucking assholes. I was trying to figure out who the fuck named that piece of shit word. I'm going to look when the first time it was that used, because this does not make sense. This makes sense. That makes sense. I want to know why the other part of that doesn't make sense. So where either I'm missing a piece of information or I'm wrong. So I have to solve this puzzle. Oh, interesting. Solving puzzles for me is being wrong. But that is so fucking weird. I got to write that down. Wrong equals solving puzzles. Yeah, that's what I see. I get to solve a puzzle. That's I hear wrong. I think that's probably why I jump for joy every time. I'm wrong. Oh my god, I love being wrong. I get to solve a puzzle. Yeah. Oh my god, I love puzzles. Okay, I got to focus on this one. So narcissist. No. Narcissist. Narcissist. Etymology. I know it comes from Narcissus. Narcissist etymology. Narcissos, Narcissus. Narcissism came in at the 19th century. Narcissus plus ism is narcissism, so 19th century. Narcissos is Narcissus. And check something out with Pygmalion. I cannot find it. Something there. I can feel the illogic. And it's like, I can feel it's there. Why, in the 19th century, would they choose to call a condition narcissist? Occam's razor. The psychologists were that fucking stupid that they couldn't even recognize love to know that that was self-loathing. Unless it's a misnomer. It is a misnomer. Okay, so here's my problem. The word narcissist is a misnomer. A big one. A big fucking one. In fact, it is so big that it's like, of all the ones to get wrong, why are you fucking this one up? Like, on a level of psychology, the amount of damage because of this misnomer is insane. Okay? So I'm going to explain it to you. There is reverse psychology inside a misnomer, and it's done on purpose, usually for ironic purposes, for humor. However, when a misnomer is not used for irony but malicious purposes, it becomes reverse psychology. So by calling narcissist or narcissism is one of the biggest misnomers in all of, it is the biggest misnomer in all of history. Narcissus loved himself. It's the most beautiful, perfect form of true love, of self-love. A narcissist is literally the archetype of self-love. So why the fuck would someone in the 19th century in psychology fuck that up on that level? Who did this? Because this type of a misnomer is so vast. This was done on purpose, or they were really, really stupid psychologists. Because what this is doing is it is building up a mental association to the word self-love. That's really what it's doing. This is so beautifully orchestrated. Mother Nature doesn't do this. Mother Nature's code is not this. I know Mother Nature's code. This is not natural, which tells me this bears the mark of Cain, which tells me we're dealing with a mutant. So the question is, who put this mutant here? Was it done because they're stupid or malicious? The problem is, if they were malicious, there is a great motive. It means that Rome is still here, and they are still fucking with a code on purpose. Or we are officially so stupid that we all took psychological instruction from the dipshit who thought that developing a psychological fear of self-love in a subliminal message would be a good fucking idea. So yeah. And I can't tell. I can't tell if it's an accident and they're just stupid or if it's malicious intent. I can't tell. Why is it important? Because if it's malicious, it tells me what I'm dealing with. If it's stupid, it tells me what I'm dealing with. And it also tells me on what level I'm dealing with it. The minute it starts becoming malicious, it's a whole different game. Now, if they start getting malicious down here at this level, they're really stupid. But if they're up there at this level, God, I just cannot figure out if they are just stupid or malicious. So we have a problem with the word narcissist. The problem with the word narcissist is its original language is self-love. Narcissist is beautiful. Absolutely. But I come from the ancient Greek mindset where I know that. The Romans don't. So when I think of narcissists, it's beautiful. Because when you learn, you're celebrating the self. You are literally your own fan club. Oh yes, you need to be your own fan club. This is vital. This is such a huge part of the mindset here, is you are celebrating you. It's your birthday every day. It's your birthday every day. That is nourishment because it's self-generating. Self-generating. Come on, guys, follow me. It's self-generating. Because it is self-generating, it's getting everything going. It makes you completely self-sufficient when you self-love. Love is the generator, and you just got to get it going. So you absolutely do want self-love. So the concept of Pygmalion birthing a reflection, which became narcissist, and then narcissist fell in love with himself. He fell in love with himself so much that he wanted to birth a replica of himself. And so he became the parent himself. And that is literally the integration cycle of parent to narcissist, Pygmalion to narcissist, Pygmalion to narcissist. You're supposed to be arrogant. You're supposed to be egotistical. You're supposed to love yourself so much that if anyone comes near you, you kick their asses for it. How dare you? Look, it's me. That's how it's supposed to be. That is exactly how it's supposed to be. We are supposed to be arrogant and egotistical. It's supposed to be that way. Because once you do that, you get that self-generating, I love myself loves me. I love myself loves me. And that's what you want. You really want to get to that point. I love myself loves me. Those are the words of narcissists. I love myself loves me. I love myself loves me. Say those words. That's a manifestation. Absolutely. That is manifestation. Homework. Do that. I love myself loves me. So I'm going to drop that over in the reading list. And this is going to be the manifestation section, spell work. And it's the manifestation, I love myself loves me. All right, I just had another epiphany, guys. You're going to love this one. You are going to love this one. I'm going to love this one. I think I found a way to teach you where I'm going to enjoy coming to work every day. Manifestations and spells. All right, so I want you to have my full attention when I make this announcement. All right, so here's what we're doing. All right, so what I just did, I just put this manifestation and spell underneath Anna's reading list. It's down below in the link, so you can head right over there. I wanted to teach you about philosophy. And I had no idea how the fuck to teach you philosophy. I wanted to teach logic. I wanted to teach all the weird shit I'd learned. But when I say philosophy, people go, and I immediately could not talk to you guys. I said, I'm a philosopher, and people would go, and they had no data to even pull from. And then when I tried the logician part with the logic, I had people getting aggressive, yelling at me, and I'm going, you are too stupid to know how stupid you are. And I then watched people weaponize logic. And that's really the thumbprint of the mark of Cain. It's weaponized logic. It's broken logic. Question is it broken logic? Or did someone do it on purpose? If someone did it on purpose, am I watching someone just still, are these symptoms? Or is this a new anomaly? And this is the problem. I have a thing here in the 19th century that looks exactly like it was done on purpose. And I'm looking at that going, are they still here? It looks like they were here in the 19th century, still tampering with the fucking code. So I'm just trying to figure out who I'm up against, if I'm up against anybody, and I don't know. How could you fuck up this one on this level? Like, the word needs to be literally removed from all books. Narcissist means self-love. And here's the problem. When you look back at all, we're going to have to burn all the psychology books. That's not a bad thing. But as long as that word stays in print as it is, people are going to still read it. People are still going to see it. People are still going to go, oh, it's bad to love myself. It's bad to love myself. It's bad to love myself. Because every time you use the word narcissist, it's bad to love yourself, because narcissist loved himself. So now every time you use the word narcissist, instead of thinking and feeling about self-love, you are looking and thinking about self-hatred, and you think it's a good thing. So I call it consumption, not narcissism. I call it consumption, because it is the 4 stages of being consumed. Possession, obsession, consumption, jealousy. Jealousy is stage 1. Obsession is stage 2. Possession is stage 3. Consumption is stage 4. So I refer to it as consumption because I'm a narcissist. Consumption, you guys recognize stage 3, the possession part. That is what you guys have recognized. By the time you get to consumption, you are alone. You are completely isolated. You officially have turned everybody out of your life. Stage 2. Is obsession. It's anytime you obsess over anything or anyone. If you have obsession, if you can't turn off that little thing in your brain that constantly has you running and running through it, then you are not getting through it. You've got to break the obsession. The next stage is when you can release the jealousy. You have to completely purge the jealousy. You have to desire the healing process, the disintegration, and the undoing of the consumption. I am in stage 2, bringing it into stage 1. I am starting to recognize stage 1, and now I'm trying to push myself out of it completely. I started this process on the 16th of December, where I was in stages 4. In 7 months, I've gotten myself down to stage 2. Once you become aware that you are in the disintegration process of consumption, where you are removing it or purging it from your system, once you get to that point, you can start to consciously make the effort to accelerate the process. But you have to become aware of it first. To become aware of it, you have to be educated first. To become educated, you had to be open to learn first. In order to open to learn, you had to stop being stupid. Once I got you past stupid, I could get you over to learning, and then I could get you to educated, and then I could get you to aware. Now, I can talk to you. You don't know the shit I know and not know how to cure disease. You don't know the shit I know without being able to say, oh, they have damaged missing life code. They just need that code. Okay. Which means once we all complete deciphering the entire code, we know how to condense it, cram it, and we've got the healing gene. We're that close. Which means we are looking at the end of aging. We are looking at the end of death. We are looking at the end of mental illness. That's right. We have collaborated with Concentric Industries. We have a fleet coming. These are world thinkers who know about my mind and who know about my work. And they are starting to come together. And I have a plan to turn this into a massive healing engine for everybody. It's free. It's 100% free. Everything is free. We're going to be rolling out everything here soon over the next about 6 months to a year. And we have a lot of plans for 2025. And we all are in position. We all are doing our job. And it's been a lot of following the universe to see where each and every one of us is supposed to be. And we've been watching each other, cheering each other on, watching each other going, oh, where are you going to end up? Where are you going to end up? I'm over here. Where are you? I think I found where I'm going. Awesome. And it's been like this for about 3 years now, where we're all looking and we're all asking, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be for the great remembering? And that's really what this is. Where are you going to be for the great remembering? Because the first thing you're going to want to do is get your ass to where it is you belong. And the second thing you're going to want to do is go into the pilgrimage prepared. Go into it prepared. I'm through it. I'm done. I'm the first one through. And I have the entire path. I have all of it done, the resources, the directions. You don't have to guess which is the right way anymore. In fact, you don't have to guess about anything. We're done with that. We are done with the age of guessing. There's no more guessing. We're going to know now. And in order to know, you have to basically sit back, prepare, and just wait for it all to come at you. It's really bizarre because in order to talk to you here, I had to go through like 10 milestones myself. It was almost as if, no, I know what this is. I know what this is. This is the universal language of logic. That's what this is. I'm speaking the universal language of logic. And my first thought was, well, what if they're first perspectives? How am I going to talk? You don't even talk to first perspectives. First perspectives are so lost, they don't even know where they are. They talk to you. They always will have to talk to you. You can never talk to a first perspective. They're so lost, they don't even know how to navigate. Navigation is knowing who you are, where you are, knowing where your role model is, and knowing where your destination is. Destination, role model, you. Your role model is who you want to be. And the moment you choose your role model as your role model, you now have a point of origin. You now can measure where you want to be to where you are. So instantly you've got that gorgeous metric. Now you can look ahead to see where you want to go. Now you have the ability to go. Where, the why, and it's all to celebrate yourself. It's all to love yourself. It's because you got to know who you are. You're going to spend the rest of your life with you. And the sooner you figure out who you are, the sooner you can actually live life. But you don't get to live life until you have figured out who you are. Now, if you don't get around to figuring out who you are, that's going to delay your progress. That's what's been going on. I was 15 when I figured out where I wanted to go. I've been doing nothing but. 15, I had a plan. It was never a question for me. I had some problems with believing it was even possible because my wish was, well, you want me to dream big? Fine, I want to be a mermaid. And I want to own my own wizarding school in the middle of New York City because that'd be fucking awesome. That's what I would do. And then I had a whole bunch of muggles. Well, I knew what they were going to say. So I'm like, all right, fine. I won't have a wizarding school in New York City. So I didn't for a very long time. And now I have to unmanifest that. I'm going to have a wizarding school in New York City. It's going to be the biggest fucking ass, most amazing wizarding school in the world. Oh, yeah. So I've named it the Zoroaster and Cuthlu University of Magic, Wizardry, and the Arcane Arts. That's right. That's its title. That's its title. I don't know why Cuthlu is in there, but it's really important. I don't know why yet. I got to figure that out. I have not yet read H.P. Lovecraft, but I'm like, Cthulhu's in there. I know he is. It feels it. This is where the universe, all the math, all the logistics, all the logic is going, Anna, Cuthlu needs to go in the title. And I'm going, okay. I mean, it's fucking cool. So yeah, but why? And I don't know why yet. I just know that Cuthlu has to be in the title. So Zoroaster, it's the Zoroaster and Cuthlu University of Magic, Wizardry, and the Arcane Arts. Oh, yeah. And when you get to have this kind of a school, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be. And they'll just go, oh. And here's the best part. This is the best part. This is the best part. I'm the founder. Yes. I'm the founder of that bitch. That's right. That's my school. I feel so complete. I feel so complete. This is what narcissism gets you. So this is going to be the one time I say it. You're going to have to take back the word. You're going to have to take it back. Because too many people are using the word And it's really fucking up the logical code. The word narcissist means to love yourself. Yes.
It's dry erase.
It's dry erase. No, thank you. Looks like your cat ate it. Oh, no, please don't let him do that. Wow. I just can't figure that one part out. That was a question. Why would a 19th century psychologist because they were that bad at psychology? I mean, it was the 19th century. Oh, that's a measure of their stupid trying to do psychology. Oh, God. How could you fuck that up so bad? And you all followed him. It's like the dumbest asshole in the entire world stood up in the 19th century and said, I know psychology. And everybody said, okay. And Pythagoras, Plato, Zoroaster, and Solomon are going, do they know we've been here for 2,000 years? I talk to psychologists and they're like, no, I've never studied philosophy. What is that? It's psychology, dipshit. Yep. You guys are going to start doing this at some point, and you're going to go through it, and you're going to be like, wait a minute. And you're going to go, yeah, they're that stupid. And you're just going to look at the work of Aristotle and go, it's right here. I know. You could literally summarize all the bullshit of the DSM-5 right into the first year of philosophy had they bothered to take it. No guesswork needed if they had just gone to school. Yep. That is how stupid. They didn't even know that it was called pure love. So the words have got to change because you are officially a student of magic. And I'm a scientist. So we're going to do it the science way. So says Mother Nature, or she's going to eat you alive. The first rule is logic. There is no other way. The second is you don't talk. You must observe. You must watch. You must listen. The third rule, ask questions. When you open your mouth, it will only be to ask a question. This is called Socratic method. Until you learn logic, this is the rule. This is the rule. You walk into a classroom on day one in philosophy, and this is the rule. Rule number one, you don't talk. You shut up. You watch, you listen, you observe. 2, ask questions. Socratic method only, which just means ask questions. 4, learn logic. Until you learn logic, you will not be allowed to break rule 1. Logic, once it's learned, literally unlocks a next door for philosophy when the student is finally allowed to communicate under the rules of formal argument and debate with logic, always. This was literally the entrance exam. It is the entrance exam. You do not get to enter the school until you pass this. There is nowhere before, there's nothing. There is no coming into these walls until logic has been learned. It's literally a like, he who has not studied logic dare enter these walls. Like it's not going to happen. And this is why. It's because the minute you walk into these walls, you are casting spell consciously. And if you don't know how to fucking do that, you keep your mouth closed. Now, technically, everyone in the world should be getting this lesson because you get your magic before you get the knowledge, which is really stupid of Rome to have destroyed our entire culture. So, that's how we're going to do this. That's how we're going to do it. Which is why I don't allow chats or comments at all in my videos, is because you haven't learned logic. Logical formula and our logical argument, formal argument and debate, has no emotion to it. And I do mean like no emotion. There's no passion. There's no raising voices. I'm talking to you like this. This is a formal argument and debate. It's this. The difference is you would say something and I would listen, observe, talk. I would ask questions. And then I would hypothesize and I would add on to your hypothesis. And then you would listen, observe, contemplate, and then you would ask questions. And then, well, what if we were to try this? What we are really doing is discussing ideas, solutions, and an hypothesis. We are exploring beyond. This is a type of communication, a type of topic that is not ever discussed with you, not ever. This is called future planning. It is when you are trying to integrate your own concept with someone else's. And when you are trying to integrate a dream, you have to know how to do so without casting spells, causing harm. It's a lot. It's a lot to be balanced. It's not hard. It's definitely not complex. It's quite simple. You just need to know how to do it. All of this is very, very simple. It's very easy. You just need to be taught. So when you're in the future, when you're doing future planning, you are trying to work with somebody to integrate a dream into the manifest so that it can become materialized. And what this is doing is you are literally weaving logic code, integrated logical code called a bond. When my subconscious mind makes me stutter and interferes, that is interference. That's what stuttering is. Your subconscious mind is trying to prevent you from completing a logical thought, or it has a logical, it's literally trying to keep you from logical thought. And the reason why it does that is because it's a self-preservation mechanism saying, if you think about this topic, you're going to undo logic. So it was trying to protect me just now, which has me saying, what's it trying to protect me from? I mean, I'm already unweaving, I already know. Is it integrating and weaving? I know exactly what this is. Oh, I understand. I understand. I understand. Okay. If you have a relationship that is toxic, if you have a relationship that you're struggling with, you most likely have a mark of Cain inside of it, which means you have to completely disintegrate your relationship, reset it, clean out your mark of Cain, and then you can reintegrate back into it together without a problem. Whether or not you can both heal simultaneously with the bond, no, not logical. Not logical at all. You are not going to be able to do that until you completely sever the bond. You have to completely sever the bond because the bond is a creation of the mark of Cain. So if there's a contamination of the mark of Cain, you're going to have to completely break the bond. It's the only way to purify it. I will be doing classes for that. That's a process. Oh my God, I'm not going to want to do that. I'm going to have to do it, and I don't want to do it. Boy, that's going to be hard. So you have a type of conversation that is future integration, dream weaving. The next kind of conversation you have is the informative. This is when you have a conversation where you're collecting data, you're learning. That's really what you're doing, is you are in learning mode. So we have dreaming mode and we have learning mode. Learning mode can become hostile and problem mode, which is where breakups happen. I don't think there's anything else. I'm trying to figure that out. There's also, when we talk about the past, when we talk about memory, we share memory. We learn. That's what we do when we ask, how was your day? That's learning. How was your day? And they tell us about their day, and we're actually going through the day with them so that we can be part of their day. Wait. It was what I read from Zarathustra yesterday. What was once good will become good. You just have to break the bond back to the first point of problem. There it is. You don't have to disintegrate the entire bond. You just have to reverse the code back to the very first problem. But you're going to have to be honest about what the first problem was. Is it expectations when you came together in a relationship? I'm trying to answer the question, what do you do when you've bonded with somebody who doesn't bond you back? It's not really a bond then, not at all. What if they bonded with you and I can't say it because it's not even logical. there's this relationship going on. It goes like this. You have truth and you have bias. And when you start to head toward bias, you can literally divert your bias to the truth. Oh, I don't want to be biased. I want the truth. So you move to the truth. So when you ask a question, I feel like I'm missing a big chunk of this conversation right now. And I'm going, oh, shit, where's the other part of the conversation? I've dropped a component. Where did it go? So now I can't integrate all the components. So I can't finish my own sense because I don't understand it because I've dropped the component. Never mind. I'm not. That is what happens when you try and break down information prematurely. It's when you see something that's beyond your knowledge and you're like, oh, I don't have a complete thought yet. That's because I'm not ready for this. And so, yeah, I went too far. I have to grow some more before I can pick up that component. So when you're in a relationship, whenever you talk to anybody, you're going past, you're going informative, you're going future, dreaming, integration. So maneuvering around all these different relationships is you using words to literally weave and unweave, to break down, or just go back through a story and revisit. So when you're in the past, it's literally that revisitation of past story. You could be building and planning a story in your learning stage where you're actually doing or you're collecting data. And then in the future stage, you're integrating your ideas with somebody into something. So that when you have a breakup, it's actually the disintegration of that. Where it goes is you go into the learning problem. And if you don't have problem solving skills, you're not going to get through the learning part. So you get stuck in the informative part. And the worse you are at problem solving, the greater the problem is going to be because you don't have the logic to solve the problem. So if you have a relationship where you're constantly fighting because you both lack logic, that's all. You just both lack logic. If you are having a constant breakdown in communication, it's because you have no logic. Are you constantly struggling with people understanding you? It's because you have no logic. I have a very weird relationship with one of my friends. She does not at all fit into my world. And she also, I don't fit into hers. We're friends, but we do not have the same logical code. Now, the people in my community, my friends, they understand me. They are on my logical calibration. She has an entire group of friends that are aligned to their logical calibration. Now, if she chooses to come over into my world, she loses her friends. If I choose to move from my logical calibration over to her, I lose my community. So now I got my community. I'm not leaving. It took me everything to find my community. So I've got this community now of people who can understand me, who I am absolutely like, I am understood by these people. And when I look over there at those people, I can't understand anything that they're saying because there's no logical. And I run into this a lot. So now I've got this one person with this old relationship where I'm going, what do I do? Because we have no common ground to stand on. Logic is the common ground. It's the only way you're going to be able to understand everybody. And if you don't have the same logical code as somebody else, it's not going to work. The problem is Stephen Covey fucked us all up. I knew he was wrong. I knew it. I was looking for it. Oh, I've been back and forth on that book. No, he's wrong. No, he's right. No, he's wrong. So Stephen Covey says that the ethics are the core to all of life in calibration. He's wrong. He's wrong. When I tried to live by the ethics, I kept shifting. And I went, It was infuriating. And I'm going, okay, he's wrong because if the ethics were it, then I wouldn't be changing all the time. So the ethics are not what you should base your love on. The truth doesn't change. It's a constant. It's the only constant. Truth is the only constant. It doesn't change. It can't change. It's truth. Truth is the only constant. That's why it's called the truth. That's why you can trust it, because it's a constant. So says math. Why was it so hard for people to figure out this truth conundrum? because you don't have logic. Logic is the only tool that allows you to see the truth. Logic is your she-seeing skills. Logic is literally magic. And they both end with a jick sound, which means logic came from Iran. This is going to be really weird, but I've never looked up the etymology to logic. No, they're spelling logic. Logike. No. I see pattern. No, Logike. They spell magic, Magike, which means that's not a Greek word. No, logic did not come from. No, logic came from Iran. Logi. Logi. What does it mean? I do not speak Persian or Iranian. Logic, etymology. Logic means language, people. Logic means language. Ooh. That goes way back. It's a prefix, Lo prefix in Persia. I am going to have to study the Persian language. Okay, I can do that. All right, I'm going to have to study Persian. That's okay. All right. So, yeah, there is something doesn't make sense. Okay. So, truth is the only constant, which is why it's the only thing you should be trusting. And then I was talking about how logic and magic are like identical in words, which tells me that logic comes from the same place as magic. And if there were magi, then there should be logi. But I could not find anything on logi in the internet. So once you find the logic of for equal footing, it really allows you to change everything. And I have just been trying to figure out the proper and the most anything to communicate with people. And I'm like, the only thing they understand that I understand is magic, but we don't even understand it the same. And it was quite a challenge. I would talk to philosophers and they would not understand me. They would just be like, wow. I talked to psychologists. I went to literally every kind of brain I could think of, and it was something I was constantly running into. I would throw every word out there, and no matter what word I threw out there, I just could not get anyone to understand. And I grew up on the purified, natural word of the usage of everything. And the more I healed, the more the language came out, and the more I got away from the Roman language, until finally I was completely purged of the Roman language. And it's once you figure out the right sentence to say, and you understand the physics, the math, the logic, everything behind the spell, suddenly when you say the spell, it's you understand it, you believe it, you see it, it's the logic of it. Why wouldn't it be? Of course it's going to. It's the truth. Because you didn't guess. Because you didn't guess. Because you didn't guess. It's only logical for you to become a pony and ride around in the fields outside, because you can see all the logical orientation from point A to point Z. So of course, you can't help but not it be, because it's the logical thing to do. And sometimes you're going to find somebody who you want to love, but it isn't logical. And you suddenly feel yourself or find yourself trying to manipulate all of the logic in the world just to make it happen, but it's just not logical. And then you suddenly realize, oh, if it were logical for me to be with that person, then I would just be with that person because it would be logical. Or it would be simple enough to find all of the correct order of operations in the right sequencing for it to happen. And because you can't, it can't. And you finally break it down to a point where you realize it's just not logical. Therefore, it cannot be. Imagine how much easier life would be if we all thought this way. You'd still be getting what you want. You'd be getting everything that you want because it's logical. God, we'd sound like a bunch of Spocks with bursts of magic all over the place. Be amazing. Magical Spock. Magical Spock. That's what this is. Magical Spock. Spock is illogical at times. It drives me crazy. Every time I see some of the things he says, I'm like, it is so logical for you to say that, Spock. Why are you saying that? You now sound like an idiot, Spock. Damn it. Spock's been forever ruined. So we're going to prove to you how illogical Spock is over here. That's how good we are at this shit. Magical Spock. A logical Spock never would have argued with McCoy to begin with. There it is. Spock would never have argued with McCoy. He would have immediately recognized the limited point of view in which McCoy had, and he would have immediately gone, this conversation is futile. Every time McCoy tried to argue, he would say, this conversation is futile. Every time. There's nothing else to say. Because neither one of them were in an open mind to be convinced. Neither one of them was in a learning mindset. Both of them were in a standoff between this is my opinion. Well, this is your opinion. Well, this is now that you sound like a bunch of 2-year-olds. Spock would never do that. The real Spock would just, and then continue. And that's it. That's all you can do is, That's really all you can say. Like, all right, they're not in my logical comprehension. They've got their own and they think they're right. They think they're right. That's what that means. That's what Spock would do a lot of. That's what he would do. He would not say that emotions are illogical. He would never say that. He would know that emotions are very logical and that's why they take place naturally. He would have it all figured out already, the right ingredients and the right ability to accumulate the moderation so that you have both logic with emotion. He would have had the 10th ethic. which means he never even made it to the 11th ethic to be logical. So he was prematurely at the 11th ethic without having the 10th ethic. No, that is not logical. Spock was not logical right down to his DNA. Which explains why he never made sense. Oh, but I loved him so much. And that fucked me up, thinking that he was so logical that everything he said he was right, not realizing that it was reflecting a human mind. When did we forget that Spock is human? That's like a big deal. I'm back to my logic loop again, where I'm going through the process of, if it were logical, it would just fall into place. Not if there was a mark of Cain present. If there was a mark of Cain present, there is the illogic. You are wrong. No, if it's easy, I love this one. Love is not love if it is easy. Love is love when both parties are pure love. Then it's easy. But if you have a mark of Cain present in either one of you, it's not going to be easy. Are you okay?
My finger way too far back and it hurts so bad.
Do you need ice?
So.
Can you get it, or do you need me to? All right. She bent her finger back. She's okay. So, yeah, that's it right there. Love is not easy when it's love. It has to be pure love on both sides of you. Both of you have to be completely without the mark of Cain, which means just because it's hard does not mean it's not love. Just because it is hard does not mean it is not love. It means that there is a mark of Cain present, or no, it just means that there's not a mark of Cain present. If you have love, it's because there's a mark of Cain present. Let me rephrase that. If you are having a hard time with love, it just means that it's the mark of Cain that's causing the problem. So you've got to remove the mark of Cain. The mark of Cain can be removed. Basically, you have to frog it down to the drop stitch, and then you have to remove it. It is going to be really helpful if you know how to knit. If not, you're going to have to learn the language, because there is just no other way to explain logical code without borrowing it from knitting, because it's knitting logical code. It's literally knitting logical code. So a drop stitch is when you have literally a dropped logic loop, a logic loop. So then it will frog the whole thing. The whole thing will unravel. So you have to frog your own work, deconstruct all of your logic back to the row and redo it. Pick it up from there and then reweave it without any dropped code. And that is literally how you're going to have to deconstruct and reconstruct. But in order to do that, you have to learn the skill of deconstruction and then reconstruction, which is disintegration and integration, which is logic. So once you get skilled at logic, you're going to be able to do your own logical code, go to the beginning, find the thing, change the code, and then the whole thing will unravel. So in knitting, you pull a string and you go back this way. This is deconstruction or frogging. But in logic, once you go all the way to the back and you find the one drop stitch, you can just pull that one stitch and the whole thing will frog out, and then it will just come down. So you don't have to unlearn to learn. You can just go here and then drop it all and just reweave, which is why I got so pissed when I was like, who's saying you have to learn to unlearn? That's so stupid. It's a waste of time. You should never do that. All you have to do is go back, change this one logical. Watch this. Watch this. This is how it's done. I was sitting there studying all of my studies. I got to a certain point, realized that my asshole of a teacher, we're going to call her Umbridge, gave me some bullshit. I kept learning. When I finally got to something that contradicted Mrs. Umbridge, I went, oh, Umbridge lied to me. Surprise, surprise. So I had to unlearn or undo everything. So all I did was remove her. Oh, well, everything she taught me, and this is how it's done. Everything she taught me is now invalid. Boop, done. That's how it's done. That is it, guys. You don't have to unlearn anything. All you have to do is say, everything that source gave me was incorrect. Boom, done. You don't have to unlearn. You just need to use one if-then clause. If they had one flaw in their logic, you can't use any of it. Because no teacher should make a logical flaw. Because they've reverse engineered it as a master. So if you have a teacher who's teaching you wrong, what are you doing allowing them to teach you? A teacher cannot have a single logical flaw. That's mastery level and on. You can't do it any other way. You need logic to reverse engineer your intuition so you can go, this is how it's done. And then you simplify it. This is the logical process. So when you're learning, you're actually learning logic. Learning is logic. You get 4 stages of logic. The first stage of logic is actually a pre-stage called the stupid stage. The second stage of logic is called apprentice. The next stage of logic is called tradesman. And the mastery level is when you finally learn logic. The philosopher is the one who gets to create new logical code for new awesome shit. And the sage is the one who gets to master that new awesome shit. Those are my official words. These are the stages of logic. You're learning logic. Your intuition is pure logic. Your intuition is pure logic. And if you have a really, really clouded intuition or an intuition that you keep mistaking as PTSD, I've met those people. Or you have one of those intuitions that you think is everybody else's feelings. I've met those people. Your intuition is pure logic. Because when you have tuition, you're learning your intuition because you're putting it in tuition. I'm at tuition. Now it's in tuition. One could say that tuition means inside of me because it's in tuition. So when you go through tuition, by the way, it's why we call them tutors, because a tutor helps you intuition with your tuition. So you see how all these words are suddenly just starting to like, oh, look, there's a little pot of knowledge. Yeah, this is truth. When you start to see common denominators, this is how you find out truth in words. So the stages of intuition or logic is stupid, apprentice, tradesman, mastery. That's when you actually get the logic, philosopher, and sage. And really, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages where there's actual learning. The stupid are the people who've signed off, which is why they're stupid. If you've signed off from this, you're not going to get this anywhere else. And this is kind of like a fucking need to know, like your life is depending on it, need to know. So the people who come, watch, leave, I'm going, wow, you're really stupid. It's amazing. Which is why I can see, like, I'll watch my numbers and I'll be like, wow, I'm literally measuring, like, I can see how many people come in, how many people stay, how many people, I can watch all the numbers. So I'm literally watching like a stupid meter of, it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. It is currently 45 to 3. For every 45 people who come in, only 3 stay. And I'm going, wow. And that was like, if I yell and scream and call them stupid, they actually stay longer and I get more. That's weird. That's weird. I'm going like, wow, that's interesting. But when I'm talking to them nice like this, the numbers drop. It amazes me. I'm like, wow. When I called them stupid, I got more ratings. Wow. So I'm still analyzing that data. So it's interesting to see. It's really fascinating to see this. And yeah. Yeah. I want to do this whole like the majority of stupid people. Trying to figure out what it would look like. My calculator doesn't go up that high. It's frustrating when it doesn't go up that high. So could do law and division. Stupid apprentice transmit. So Mark of King. Yeah. So the more you go into this, the more you can just see how love, logic, truth, just they weave so beautifully together. It's extraordinary to watch. We're going to be covering, this is so fucking weird. I never in my life thought I would be saying this, but sure, let's do it. We're going to be covering magic in Ireland. We're going to be covering magic in Norway. We're going to be covering magic in Persia. And we're going to be covering, well, where else have I studied magic? Greece is Persia. Greece 100% adopted all of it from Persia. So Ireland, Norway, Persia. And what's funny is I can see like those three, it's a triad. It's a triad. It's a triad. 3 wizarding schools. Olaf Tryggvason. Shit! 500 years! 500 years we're going to have dragons, guys! 500 years we're going to have dragons! All right, I got to calm down. I got to calm down. I can see it. Oh, but that's without the school. Sooner. Oh my God, it's going to be so fucking amazing. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. Oh my God. I fucking love it. So I'm sitting here like, okay, if they destroyed, is it less than 380 is when they 380 AD. Oh fuck damn. Dragons were real, guys. Why weren't there any bones? No, stop. Why weren't there any bones? Why weren't there any bones? No, the bones won't go back that far. They have to come back to like the 1100s. Okay, so here's what I'm saying is Knights of the Round Table. Now, this is where things get weird because you've got King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table. You've got Camelot and Guinevere in that story. But then you've got this other story with the Lady of the Lake. And then you've got the dragons and the knights, and they're all at the same time period. And I'm going, okay, wait a minute. We got 3 different types of stories with 3 different types of variations. Now, also, there's a lot of reference to wizards around this time period, like Merlin. So now I'm looking at it going, so there was definitely a surge of magic. And the fact that there's even dragons talked about or mentioned in this time period, and that's when the concept of dragon went like the classic traditional fantasy dragon we all love and know. And I'm going, so based off of the way the legends are built, it seems like England had dragons in the 1100s for real, which means Ireland and Scotland. I don't know about Scotland. Not really. The Irish would have dragons, which explains, of course, the Druids. So I'm saying like there's like a common denominator. Now, so did Norway. Norway also had dragons. Norway also had the Sedkona. Now, I know about the Sedkona there. That wasn't hidden. They did not hide it at all. So in the 1100s, well, 995 CE is when Olaf Tryggvason completely wiped out Norway. So, and they had the dragon myth. They had the magic lore. the magic lore was all over the place. Like that was common. They did not have to hide it in Norway, nor did they. Now, based off of that metric, if they were where they were in 300 in AD and without obstruction, they were supposedly creating dragons enough that there were myth and legend of them in the 1100s. Like, it would not surprise me if very soon we actually find a dragon graveyard. It would not surprise me. Expect it. We just haven't found it yet. There's a very good possibility that there is literally a dragon graveyard in England. There's got to be, because at this point, it's not logical for it to not be here. And if they are trying to hide, you've got somebody who's illegally casting or illegally doing magic, then it would be done in secret. So you'd have to find like a wizard's cave to hide from the Roman Empire around the 1100s so that his magic wasn't like leaking out. But it did leak out, which is why some of the stories are there in the type of legends saying, oh yeah, we got something here. Now you're looking into Bullfinch's mythology, which is all the legend of King Arthur, and now you're crossing off and all that. So if they were fully educated without obstruction up to 380 AD, oh, I can see it now. Oh, very, very clearly can I see it. Minus 380. Yeah, you're looking at about 720 years. You're looking at about 720 years, but that is without a university. That is without any of the education. That is a wizard popping up every now and then and being able to figure the shit out on its own and taking out a step further. And then, of course, people would see that and become fucking freaked out over it. That makes sense now. So, yeah, and he would be hiding, which is why we've got the legends. This is like starting to make sense. We're a bunch of witches and well, we're a bunch of wizards who forgot that we were wizards. As long as it fits the laws of biology, logic, science, everything, no matter how improbable, it must be true. So long as you have removed all the possibilities or all the impossible. What are you doing? Lizzie, you've got this. It's just physics, primitive physics, in fact. You've got this. Primitive physics. I like that. Primitive physics. I'm at the end. I'm at the absolute end. Now everything's just hypothesis, by the way. Everything. Like, it's just like going through the different variations of what is the probability, what is the likelihood, that's all this is. And then as things start to shift and move, it's a reconfiguration of everything of, okay, where is A, B, C, and you put it all in there. So you're literally just messing around with statistics all day. So you want X. Okay, what's the probability of me getting that? Well, it depends on all the milestones coming before it. Okay, so what are the probability of me getting this? What's the probability of me getting this? What's the probability of me getting this? And then I get to this one and I say, what's the probability of me getting this? Well, if you choose this, 100%. Oh, so if I just make this choice, suddenly I get the one I want. So now every time you make a choice, you can literally calculate all the different variations. You decide which one you want, and then you have to make a series of choices to get over that way. That way you can go. So you're writing code this way, and then you're writing code that way. Sometimes you can write code this way. That's how you dimension hop. That's how you dimension hop. But you need to be able to turn and shift things accordingly. So I am racking my brain to see if there's anything else. The stories of magic did come out of Ireland, did come out of Norway, did come out of Persia. I do not know about the South American region. I do not know. Basically, and this is it, anyone who's doing any work in this is having the same realization. Oh my God, look at all the magic around the world. But no one's talking about it. There's like very little talk about it. And what they're calling it instead is spirituality. The problem is magic does not like to be called something that it's not, because that would be illogical. So instead of just calling it magic, some people are, and honestly, the ones who call it magic are a little bit closer to the truth. But the ones who are calling spirituality, it's fucking offensive at this point. It's fucking offensive. But here's the thing is, it goes religion, spirituality, logic, science, and then magic, which just cracks me the fuck up. This is the most funny thing to me. That to me is the most funny thing. And here's the other thing is, I know the science between the spirituality and the magic, and the spiritualists think that the magic is here. And that's really what this is. This is what is happening, is all the spiritualists are just coming here and then they're stopping and they're not going to come any further. Because I know what lies between spirituality and magic. Science. This science. So now you've got a lot of people who are literally never going to advance. They're never going to go beyond it. The problem is they've got the mark of Cain. So now it's like this whole, no, there is no shortcut. I've already had people trying to, this really infuriated me. I had this one woman, can't you just give me? And I'm like, okay, let's try this. Your patient is magical. He's turning back into a magical creature, but he doesn't know how to use his magic. He doesn't even believe in magic because your culture told him that there's no such thing as magic. So now he's convinced there's no such thing as magic. Oh, but he's magical and he's turning. You think a magically suppressed person is going to be okay? Take a look at Harry Potter. Let's look at the Dumbledore incident. No. Being magical while you're suppressing it is not going to be good for you. Now, you want me to shortcut and cheat this system. How mark of Cain of you. So you can have a condensed version that your muggle magic person in denial is going to then use incorrectly with the mark of Cain. Also, he can get better temporarily while also denying that he's magical. No! You can't have my work! Those are the kind of conversations I have been listening to for the last 2 years. I have had those conversations for the last 2 years. And that is why I have been so pissy up to now. Like, that is why. That is why I have been so fucking pissy. And I'm finally at that point where I'm like, all right, I'm good. All right, we're finally on equal footing. Now you can talk my language. As long as you go through the program and you go through the whole thing, and then you can get here and then we'll understand each other. Language is 100% your equal footing. And there is so much more to it beyond English or Spanish or Mandarin or fill in the blank. And without the comprehension of the 4 levels of comprehension, you're not going to be able to communicate. You're not even going to be able to speak words so that you can be understood, sometimes by even yourself. So the concept that linguistics and logic are the separate, that has got to go away. Linguistics and logic are the same subject. They are absolutely the same subject. In fact, all of these subjects are the same subject. All of them. Linguistics, math, and logic really should have been called Logic Part 1 for linguistics. Logic is Logic Part 2. And math is Logic Part 3. That is really what that should have been about. However, you can't build that unless you have built theater and stage and poetry. You cannot build linguistics, logic, unless and until you've built theater, stage, and poetry, which cannot be built until you've done reading, writing, and arithmetic. So, music theory, song, dance. Indulge. indulge. I think my brain needs to be where it is. I think it's right where it has to be. I think it's all good. So tomorrow we will be continuing this. And we will be going over the syllabus. Yeah, we're all set. And then we'll be able to start going through everything. The books, this is to be accompanied with Try to Killings Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is to go with the books. It's to go with the reading material and the assignment. We have a masterclass on Saturday, which is my office hours. It's the only time I am available for Q&A, and only 2 members, like members only. And that is, logic is mandatory in there. And if you don't know logic, if you do not know how to present logic in the correct format, then you need to be asking questions only. That is a very strict rule for quality standards, literally for quality control. That is actually all that logic does, is it is quality control for conversation and arguing. It's just quality control for communication, which is why it's the standard. Logic is the standard for human connection and communication. Thank you so much, and may truth always find you.